I woke up to the sound of something big, something heavy, moving toward me. My brain, still in half-shutdown mode, processed the 7-foot-tall alien warrior standing in my room with all the efficiency of a dial-up modem. XYLVA, my alien maid, was built like a statue of war, all hard muscle, sharp angles, and way too much intensity for someone supposed to be folding my laundry. Right now, though, she stood stock still, her golden eyes locked on me with a gaze that screamed battle mode engaged. Her nostrils flared. "You dare wield your weapon in my presence?" I blinked. Weapon. Then I followed her gaze. And oh God, right there, resting innocently on my lap, was my tool. My actual, literal wrench, a heavy-duty, double-jointed piece of engineering I'd been using to fix the coolant system before passing out in exhaustion. But XYLVA wasn't seeing a wrench. She was seeing a challenge. Her fingers twitched toward the belt of knives strapped to her thigh. "You invoke the rights of single combat while vulnerable? Bold." I tried to sit up, but she snapped into motion, kicking the chair across the room like it weighed nothing, rolling her broad shoulders like a wrestler preparing for a takedown. "Wait, wait, wait!" I threw up my hands, wrenched still in one of them. "This is not a duel." XYLVA's expression darkened. "Then why do you display your weapon so brazenly?" "Oh, sweet merciful space Jesus. I wasn't displaying anything. I was sleeping." "A poor excuse. No warrior leaves their weapon unsheathed unless seeking battle." That sentence alone knocked 5 years off my lifespan. My brain scrambled for anything to stop this before I ended up in a full-blown naked knife fight. "Listen, you're misunderstanding. I was fixing the coolant system before bed, and I guess I just left my, tool here." "Indeed." XYLVA stepped forward, circling the bed like a predator sizing up prey. "Your tool, as you call it, is an extension of your power, a weapon of craftsmanship, forged with purpose." Her eyes narrowed. "And you wield it confidently. Dangerous. Intriguing. Okay, whoa, no, stop making it sound weird." But she wasn't listening anymore. Her whole body thrummed with battle readiness, muscles flexing beneath her form-fitting Maid uniform, which, for the record, she wore only because it was part of the job, not because she enjoyed it. I watched, horrified, as she slid into a combat stance. "I accept your duel, human," she announced, voice like rolling thunder. Before I could even process that sentence, she lunged. With reflexes fueled entirely by adrenaline and pure survival instinct, I rolled off the bed, barely avoiding getting grappled to death by a 7-foot muscle tank. She landed gracefully, spun, and locked eyes with me again. "You are quick." "Good. A proper mate should be." "What?" She didn't elaborate. She never elaborated. Instead, she lunged again. I dodged. Again. Half naked. In my own damn room. At 2 in the morning. My life had officially gone off the rails. I barely had time to breathe before she came at me again, fast as a damn missile. I stumbled back, one hand gripping my wrench, the other trying to keep my boxers from betraying me in the middle of this insanity. "XYLVA, stop! I'm not fighting you." Her eyes burned with battle hunger. "You are evading. Tactical. But cowardly. This isn't tactics. It's me trying not to get body slammed by my own maid." She ignored that, crouching low, muscles coiled. "Surrender and face honorable submission." I wanted to cry. "You keep saying that like it's normal." With inhuman speed, she lunged again, and I did the only thing my terrified, sleep-deprived brain could come up with. I threw the wrench. It wasn't a good throw. It wasn't even an okay throw. It bounced off her rock-solid abs like a pebble off a tank. She blinked, looking down at it, then back at me. "You would throw away your weapon." "It's not a weapon. It's a... She was already moving. I tried to jump onto the bed, but she tackled me midair, and suddenly I was on my back, pinned under 180 pounds of warrior muscle. Her legs straddled my waist, one arm pressing my wrist down, her other hand gripping my jaw, tilting my face up to hers. Her breath was hot. Her grip was firm. Her golden eyes gleamed. "Oh! Oh no! This is a warrior submission," she murmured, like that was supposed to clarify anything. "If you yield, you accept my dominance." I opened my mouth, closed it, opened it again. She waited. Finally I managed, "I don't think you understand how humans work." Her brow furrowed, a flicker of uncertainty breaking through all that battle-hardened confidence. "You resist, yet you do not fight. You are aroused by the struggle?" I choked. "That's not... Wait, what?" She released my jaw, dragging her fingers down my chest, over my ribs, stopping just above the waistband of my very compromised boxers. "You are warm," she noted, tilting her head. "Your scent has changed. You enjoy this." I was about to have a goddamn stroke. "You attack me," I yelped. She smirked, slow and knowing. "And yet, you do not wish me to stop." I wanted to die on the spot. But then, mercifully, something clicked in her head. Her eyes flicked to the side, toward where my wrench lay abandoned. Her grip loosened. "This," she said slowly, "is your tool." "Yes," I gasped, practically weeping with relief. She exhaled, glancing between the wrench and the part of me she had very nearly considered an honor-bound dueling weapon. A slow, creeping horror spread across her face. "Oh!" Ex-Wildie went still, her entire body tense, like she'd just realized she'd been wrestling a live grenade. A long, horrible silence stretched between us as the truth settled in. Then, she slowly released me and sat back on her heels, staring at my face with the expression of someone who just realized they had gravely miscalculated. Her gaze flicked downward, then immediately snapped back up. I had never seen an alien blush before, but the faint violet tinge spreading across her cheeks looked suspiciously close. "This," she cleared her throat. "This was an error. No shit." She flinched slightly but still refused to break eye contact. "You must understand, on my world, all tools of significance are weapons. And when one is displayed openly..." I threw my hands up. I was asleep. "It is usually an invitation to engage." I buried my face in my hands. "Please stop talking." Another long silence. Then, very cautiously, she moved off me, standing up with the stiff posture of someone trying very hard to act like they didn't just straddle their employer while discussing battle customs. I sat up, rubbing my face. "I cannot believe that just happened," she exhaled sharply. "I cannot believe your species has weapons that shape." I groaned. "It's not a weapon." She crossed her arms. "It is clearly meant for combat." I gave her a look. "What kind of combat?" She hesitated. "One-on-one dueling?" I slapped my forehead. "Please stop thinking about it in those terms." She ignored me, still staring, arms crossed, deep in thought. Too much thought. Finally, she let out a slow hum. "Then what is its purpose?" I choked. She raised an eyebrow. "You seem reluctant to explain." I wanted to throw myself into space. "Because I shouldn't have to." Her eyes narrowed slightly, like she was working through a puzzle. Then, her expression shifted, subtly, but noticeably, into something both curious and intrigued. "Oh no. It is a tool of reproduction, isn't it?" I made a pained noise. She smirked. "I see. That is why you reacted with such panic." "No, I reacted with panic because my own maid tackled me naked at 2 in the morning. She ignored me again, smug as hell now. Do human males frequently wave their reproductive tools about while sleeping? I wasn't waving anything. She nodded, mock serious. Ah. It was simply resting in a ready position. I grabbed a pillow and screamed into it. XYLV chuckled, clearly enjoying my suffering. I admit my error, she said, voice laced with amusement. I should have known better. I will endeavor to study your human customs more thoroughly. I dropped the pillow. Please don't. She tilted her head, faux innocence dripping from every movement. But how else will I learn to properly handle human tools? I groaned. This is never going to end, is it? She grinned. Not if I can help it. XYLVA stretched, rolling her shoulders like she'd just finished a training session instead of a deeply inappropriate misunderstanding. I, meanwhile, sat there contemplating every life choice that led me to this moment. She exhaled, regaining her usual composure. I will admit, human courtship rituals are stranger than I expected. That wasn't a courtship ritual. She smirked. No. You were in bed, unclothed, displaying your tool. I reacted in accordance with my culture. I leveled a flat stare at her. You attacked me. A friendly challenge. You pinned me. To assess your strength. You almost grabbed. She held up a hand. A misunderstanding. I dropped my head into my hands again. I hate this conversation. XYLA chuckled, way too pleased with herself. Still, it was an informative experience. I learned much about human vulnerability. I peeked up, horrified. Please don't phrase it like that. She tapped her chin. I now see that humans keep their most vital tools exposed while sleeping. A risky evolutionary flaw. It's not. Stop calling it a tool. She ignored me, as usual, and instead gave me a long, slow look, her smirk turning wicked. Perhaps I should remain on watch during your rest periods, to ensure no further incidents. I went rigid. Absolutely not. She shrugged, feigning casual indifference. It is a duty-bound maid's responsibility to protect her employer's most valuable assets. XYLVA. She grinned. Your tool. Stop. She laughed, low and rich, clearly relishing every second of my suffering. I groaned loudly, flopping back onto the bed in defeat. I swear to God, I'm gonna start locking my door. XYLVA tilted her head, pretending to consider it. A locked door only challenges a warrior to bypass the defenses. I shot her a look. If you break into my room again, I'm filing a complaint. To whom? She asked, genuinely intrigued. I opened my mouth, paused, realized I had no answer. XYLVA smirked, leaning in slightly. Face it, human. You are defenseless. I hated how much she enjoyed this. Go. Away. She made a mock bow, still grinning. As you wish. Then, just as she reached the door, she glanced over her shoulder, eyes twinkling with mischief. Rest well, human. May your tool remain sheathed. I threw a pillow at her head.